Hello, friends, and welcome back to the new episode of r/IDontWorkHereLady. And today is another great day to hear 3 new great stories, so sit comfortably and let's get started. Why can't you be nicer to paying customers? So this happened to me a while back. I was probably around 12 at the time. I was walking around a clothing store at the mall looking for jeans, waiting on my mom trying on clothes. This lady, maybe 40 or 50, starts asking questions about the store to what I thought was thin air. I was just ignoring her as I didn't work there and couldn't find a reason she'd think I would. The employees all had bright, specific uniforms, and wannabe emo me was looking like I'd walked right out of Hot Topic. After a few minutes of talking to herself, or me, apparently, she starts waving her arms around while staring directly at me. I'm not one for social interaction, especially with strangers who are getting seemingly irritated with me, so I didn't acknowledge her. When she's done trying to fly like a chicken, the lady comes over and starts aggressively tapping on my shoulder. At this point, I realize I can no longer escape the situation and look at her to see what the problem is. She starts complaining about me, saying how I should be nicer to paying customers as I'm being paid myself. She then tells me I should be too young to work there anyway, and why my generation sucks, blah, blah, blah. The entire time I'm thinking, yeah, I am too young, lady. I'm 12, and I don't work here. Edit, I forgot to mention earlier, I tried telling her I didn't work there, but every time I started, she yelled at me for talking back and told me it was rude to interrupt her. After a while, an actual employee comes to my rescue and asks to assist her in her search for whatever the heck she wanted. As I said, I wasn't paying enough attention to realize she was even talking to me, and gets her away from me. Shortly after, my mom came out and we continued shopping. Whenever we saw the lady, she would glare at me, but it's like, whatever, I don't work here, lady. And our second story. I'm an accountant. I don't know anything about the parking fine. This isn't strictly an IDWHL, but I've been reading through a fair few stories similar to this, so I think this should be okay. So I discovered this sub today and read through lots of stories. Time well spent. Decided to share my own story. I work in the UK as an accountant for a fairly big firm. Our office in the city center has an intercom and camera to converse with people at the front door. However, it's been broken for a while, so we just walk downstairs and greet clients. We're the only tenants of our building, which is quite clearly marked as an accountancy firm right outside the door, right next to the post box and the multiple signs inside. Roughly 6 months ago, I was in the office browsing the internet during my lunch hour, and the intercom started buzzing. It's not my job to answer the intercom, but many people were not in the office due to it being lunch, so I decided to go down and answer the door. An irate-looking man, let's call him Angry Cretin, or AC for short, was standing behind the glass door with a yellow plastic envelope in hand. I knew instantly what the envelope was, and that I was in for a mouthful based on the expression on his face. The street in front of my building had free parking for 30 minutes, but no returns after 2 hours. So you guessed it, the envelope was a parking ticket. I began to open the door, and as soon as I did, I got verbally abused by AC and his girlfriend as they tell me the sign outside says, "Free parking always." It doesn't. The conversation went something like this. AC: "I can't believe you've given me this ticket for parking here. The sign says parking's free. I want to speak to someone." Me, as calmly as possible: "I haven't given you the parking ticket. That has nothing to do with us." "Well, it clearly is, because I parked outside this building. I want to speak to your manager now." You can speak to him if you want, but he'll say the same thing as me. I then tried to correct him by showing him the signs, plural, outside, but he took me walking towards him as a show of confrontation and got more angered, shouting more. "This is an accountancy firm. I was going to show you the sign outside the office." "That doesn't mean you haven't given me the ticket. This is appalling." I'm getting frustrated now. Yes, it does. We do accountancy work. Also, why do you think that you can park for free there when all the other car parks around here make you pay £4 and this road is empty? Don't you think that this road would be completely full by lunchtime on a weekday? At this point, AC walked outside to prove me wrong, checked the sign that apparently said free parking, and lo and behold, couldn't find his leg to stand on. He then actually looked at the parking ticket, and I could see the horror on his face when he realized that it had come from our city council. AC then proceeded to sink into the floor. Oh, by the way, that fine isn't tax deductible. Have a nice day. And our third story for today. When the drive for a new iPhone is too great, you get fired. I work as an executive support technician for a large company. I have a team of 8 people under me, and we support high-ranking executives and their administrative assistants. Because of the nature of our work, we have the ability to get things done that the standard help desk cannot. We can force upgrades that would otherwise be denied, get things expedited, skip the normal procedures, and talk directly with the people who fix the issues. While we are at executive support, there are still levels. When the CEO is in town, one of us is camped outside of wherever he might be in case there's any sort of issue. For lower people, we make sure things get done as quickly as possible, but it's not a drop-everything situation. As we prepped for the releases of the new iPhones, we braced for the flood of "I need this" that inevitably happens. We slot in orders immediately for the top of the pyramid guys, then work our way down, replacing and sometimes having to tell them that they have to wait because the device they have is too new to warrant replacing. So on Monday, the EA of a lower-end exec put in a request to get both herself and the exec new 256-gig iPhone Xs. The exec was put on the approval list with a wait, but the EA was denied. She'd just been issued an iPhone 7 a few months ago, and she began to raise hell about, "I have to support him, so I need to have the exact same phone," etc., etc. Still denied. On Tuesday, I get a ticket from the EA. iPhone will not turn on. Require replacement with attached ticket for iPhone 10 request. I send one of my drones out to investigate, and I immediately get a text saying I have to get out there. I get out there, and the iPhone is wet. Not just wet, but like dripping wet, like just pulled out of a glass of water wet with a screen that could only be called heavily cracked. The EA states, "I was using it, and it fell into my water bottle." So we take the phone back to our area, but I've called my manager over and we explain it. It's obvious what's happened. We've toweled it off, and when we turn it over, water drizzles out of the cracked screen. Well, as luck would have it, we have spares. So I pluck a nice 64-gig rose gold iPhone 6S that was returned when the previous owner departed the company. I call, have the SIM re-provisioned, I reassign the phone in AirWatch and have the phone returned to the EA. 10 minutes later, said EA is at our door, ranting, screaming, saying that she can't work like this, she needs a new phone, and if we don't give her one, executive will make us give her one. I step in and tell her a permanent replacement is just beginning the process. We've had to issue this phone as a loaner so you can continue working until a permanent replacement is sourced. Q Wednesday. The approval process has come back denied for her replacement. The loaner phone is now her permanent phone. This info is relayed to the EA, who is fuming. Lots of executive will hear about this and statements of, "I can't believe this is happening to me. How will I work?" Wednesday afternoon, same EA, new ticket, iPhone broken, need replacement. I head out myself to see the issue, and the phone looks like it was dragged behind a semi for 100 miles, and the screen is shattered. A big chunk missing out the top near the camera, big dents in the back. I calmly ask, "What happened? This phone was perfect this morning." The reply, "Well, since you gave me an old phone, my case didn't fit, and it slipped out of my hands and fell down the stairs." Well, okay, could you tell me when and what stairwell this happened? She does, and I take the mangled phone, grab my manager, and we head off to the security office. We pull the tapes. On the video, we see the EA walking up the stairwell, concrete stairs, metal handrail, your typical big building, non-public stairwell. She reaches the top and proceeds to fling the phone, like one would skip a stone, down from the 6th floor to the mid-floor landing, where it lands. She steps on it, then kicks it down to the 5th floor. It bangs off the metal fire door. She picks it up, examines it, then tosses it down the stairs toward the 4th floor, bouncing off a few steps before landing on the mid-landing between 5 and 4. She picks the device up and pries a large section of something off the phone. We suspect this was the chunk missing by the camera, then heads back up the stairs, running the phone against the cinder block wall as she climbs. So we grab a copy of the video and head straight to HR. We sit with the personnel director, we show her the video, we show her the 2 damaged iPhones, we show her the tickets. I relay the abuse thrown to myself and my techs about how she demands an iPhone 10 and is taken to destroying company property to get it. Termination follows. However, the user has gone home for the day. Her accounts are disabled, her security badge flagged. 7:30 a.m. today, the EA attempts to get into the building, and her badge does not work. so she had to walk to the security office. The security officer takes the badge and walks her to HR. 8 a.m., the security officer and 2 members of HR are escorting the EA out of the building. She's alternating between yelling and crying, demanding that executive be called and that she's being framed. As she's brought through the main foyer, I'm in the second-floor balcony that overlooks the entrance, she looks up at me, curses me, and is gone. Both phones, her laptop, and other equipment have been placed with the legal team as a precaution, company policy when there's a messy separation. Maybe I'll buy my team pizza for lunch today. Seems like the right thing to do. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video to the end, and I'll see you in the next one.